Hello, you are listening to NPR. This is the Cinerex Podcast, episode 65. Hana Makhmalbaf's Buddah collapsed out of shame. I'm Ira Glass.
And for legal purposes, we need to tag on a disclaimer that this is
For
not
legal
NPR.
purposes, I am not Ira Glass. Ira Glass. I am not Ira Glass. This is not NPR. This is the Cinerex. Okay, well, everyone gets the jokes. We can do jokes.
Okay, I have a new segment I'd like to introduce for the start of the podcast.
Right off the top. Fire it away.
Yeah, it's called Farhan's Balcony Updates.
Okay. Pigeons?
Have I been telling you about the war I've been having with the pigeons?
Yeah.
So they were trying to nest on my balcony. I ran them off. They successfully nested on my neighbor's balcony, who never uses his balcony. And they totally took over the balcony, and they kept coming over to mine and pooping.
Okay.
So I got an owl, and that worked for a little bit, and they came back. Then I put up a little barrier because they kept waddling over. The barrier worked for a bit, and then they started coming from the outside of the rail. Then I put spikes, and that worked for a bit. Then they started just flying over and fully landing.
Mm-hmm.
And so eventually, from chasing them out with my pigeon pole, which is a stick that I use to scare them away, they only really perched on my neighbor's balcony. While I've been away for a bunch of my trips, that neighbor moved out. And while I've been away, now the new neighbor is using their balcony. The pigeons are getting scared, and they've been perching on my balcony. So today I got rid of one of their nests, and we'll see by the next episode what the update is.
Durud bar shoma dostan aziz. This is a Cinerex podcast where we talk all things Iranian film, cinema, arts, culture, literature, pigeons, apparently. Young girls going in Afghanistan trying to go to school. Boys playing war with sticks. What else do we talk about, Farhan?
Kites on Fire.
Kites on Fire.
It could be a band name.
I'm Kaveh Mohebi.
And I'm Farhan Moradi.
Is that why you had tweeted earlier? Can you believe these pigeons? Total disaster. My beautiful balcony, one of the best, people are saying, is under attack by very nasty, very disrespectful birds. Poop everywhere. Disgusting.
Yeah,
You wrote that all in
yeah.
capital letters. And you said, we will be taking a strong action. The pigeons don't stand a chance. Make balconies clean again.
You forgot the hashtag I put in at the end. Hashtag Javicha right at the end.
Right. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm really excited about today's episode. I have to tell you some stuff off the top.
You have a daughter?
My mother has been telling me to watch this movie for years. She really likes this movie. And every time I talked about Iranian cinema and the fact that I have an Iranian podcast, or a podcast on Iranian cinema,
Have
she
you
said,
done that movie yet?
You should do Buddah collapsed out of shame. Yeah. So, Mom, here we go. I'm proud to finally tell you that we are doing today's episode on Hana Makhmalbaf's Buddah collapsed out of shame, also known in Farsi as Buddah as Sharm Furu Rikht.
Does your mom listen to the podcast?
And interspersed episodes. Sometimes I'll tell her she doesn't know how to work Spotify and stuff. It's just more of a tech thing.
My parents figured out that they can actually play it on their Google Home now.
Oh, cool.
So they'll just tell it and they can play.
Right.
But my dad would also often listen to it when he's walking and stuff too.
Yeah.
Anyway, hi, Mrs. Mohebi.
For the listeners, this movie is on YouTube in DVD-esque quality, almost there. You could just type in the title of the film. It'll probably be the first or second result. Buddah collapsed out of shame.
Do you think
it's a short movie? It's an hour and 15 minutes. And I just off the top recommend watching it. I think it's a great film. You should pause it and watch that movie.
Quality. Do you think that, because when you watch it, it looks like it was shot on a DV camcorder.
Yeah.
Do you think it looks like that because of the way it was transferred and the actual version of it is a lot nicer? Or do you think...
No. I think the film looks like that.
That's what I thought too.
I think this film was made on a shoestring budget. And we'll talk about that in specific things. But yeah, it looks like... It reminds me of the way Kiarostami's
How many
Ten
eggs
was made.
do you think they had to sell to finance this film?
Well, at least 4.
Well, you got to put in contingency for 2 breaking, though.
Plot summary for Hana Makhmalbaf's Buddah. And we should also mention, I should stop this right there. Of course, if the name isn't obvious enough, Hana Makhmalbaf is the famous Mohsen Makhmalbaf, the youngest daughter. Everyone in Mohsen's family, Mr. Makhmalbaf's family, is a filmmaker.
And his wife, Hana's mom, also wrote the film.
Yeah. Marzia Makhmalbaf was the writer. She's also a filmmaker in her own right. Samira is the elder daughter. She's a filmmaker as well. I should actually correct that. I think his son has never directed a film,
Maysam?
but his son is a photographer.
Right. Also, are Samira and Hana from two different moms?
I don't know.
I think they are. I think Samira is his first wife's daughter, who passed away in 1982.
Oh, okay.
And then Hana is the second wife's daughter.
Well, can you confirm that before?
That's what it says online.
Okay, great.
As long as that is accurate, what I'm saying is correct.
Cinema Rex, as accurate as the internet. That's our guarantee. So let's dive into a plot summary for Buddah Collapsed Out of Shame. The story takes place in modern Afghanistan following the removal of the Taliban and revolves around a 5-year-old Afghan girl who wants to attend a newly opened school. The girl, Bakhte, lives in the caves under the remains of the Buddhas of Bamiyan, which were destroyed by the Taliban in 2001. Bakhte becomes obsessed with the idea of going to school, but must fight against a society influenced by conditions suffered during the strict Taliban rule, including toxic misogyny, war, poverty, violence, and dire children's games. This has an 80% Rotten Tomato score and a 79% audience score, which I was genuinely kind of surprised, only not for the score, but just the fact that it had a score, a Rotten Tomato score. Don't you feel like this is one of those under the radar films that wouldn't be seen by enough critics?
It does, yeah.
Constitute a... But yeah, so that's a great rating. And I ask you, Farhan, June, Azizam, what did you think of Buddah Collapsed Out of Shame?
I thought it was really sweet. It is a very simple story. There's not a ton to it. Like, you could tell the story almost like an anecdote. There's like 3 parts to the film. There's the stuff with her on like a fetch quest to get the stuff she needs for the book. There's the stuff with her encounter with the boys who are playing make-believe.
Yeah.
Right? And then there's the stuff with her getting to school and attending school.
Yeah.
Any one of those sections of the film, I feel like could have been its own movie.
Okay, yeah, for sure. A short movie.
Yeah, a short film. Any one of those.
Yeah.
And I wonder if I actually would have preferred to watch this almost as like 3 short vignettes or like a trilogy of short films as opposed to one feature film.
Interesting. Why is that?
I don't know. I'm just thinking about like... Why are you laughing?
You just like firmly believe something, and then I ask one question and it falls apart. I don't know why I just said.
Even when I said it, I said I wonder if I would have preferred it.
Right. Here's what I think, Farhan. If we had watched this as 3 separate short films starring that girl, 110% money down, you would have been like, I would love to see this as a feature film where you stitch the 3 shorts together and get one narrative arc.
I do that. I don't know if there, like, as the movie is right now, I don't know if there's enough in the plot of the film for it to justify its runtime in a weird way.
Let me just tell you. Let me push back on that.
Go ahead. Push back.
There's so much enough in this plot, in my estimation, that if there isn't enough in this plot, then what is there in The White Balloon or Where is the Friend's House or Children of Heaven that would constitute more going on? Children of Heaven, you might argue there's a bit more because there's a little bit more interplay between the brother and sister. But like, Where is the Friend's House that is a story that can be told in a sentence.
The funny thing is that I had that same thought while I was watching it, as I was like, why does this feel like there's less plot than something like Where's the Friend's House, which is an even simpler plot?
But yes, exactly. I think the more happens in Buddah Collapsed Out of Shame than happens in Where's the Friend's House.
More plot points.
There's like, the film is broken into like acts.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Which is like, it's like actually
there's like 3 different movies within this movie.
But I wouldn't say they're different movies. I just think like the stakes get raised. She essentially gets kidnapped and put into quote unquote prison in the 3rd act. And like this actually follows a little bit more of. I'm going to say something. I really like this movie quite a bit.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm okay. I'm like down for movies being shorter runtime, like 75 minutes down. Like more movies like this.
This movie's what, an hour 25?
Hour 15 on YouTube.
Hour 15.
Whether IMDb has a slightly longer version. I don't know if some things were cut out, but
right.
This is the kind of film that if it was 2 hours long, I would have been like, you could cut 40 minutes from this film.
Right.
And I'm glad this version of this film exists. One of the things I want to say right at the top is, I don't know about Hana, or it's Marzia, Mr. Makhmalbaf's wife who wrote this film.
Yeah.
This is a very standard Hollywood structure script.
Yeah.
This is what the thing I noticed. To the point where, do you know Dan Harmon, the creator of Community and Rick and Morty?
Yep.
So do you know about a story circle? Yeah. So, okay. That's kind of supposed to be like, I don't actually like following it too much as I like Save the Cat a little bit more and stuff for feature.
Yeah.
Personal reference. But literally the beats for his story circle is you need, go, search, find, take, return, change. That 100% happens in this film. This is the story of the plot of Buddah claps at shame with this little girl. Right.
But his story circle, he published that after this movie came out.
Probably, yeah. No, I'm not saying they used it.
Oh,
but I'm just saying
that's what you were saying.
It so acutely reflects what standard Western, for the most part, but like enjoyable audience story structure, kind of like the hero's journey, and et cetera, follows that curve. And this does it brilliantly. Like it hits all those beats.
You know something I don't like about the story circle, by the way?
Yeah, I don't like it either. But
the way it's visually represented makes it look like it's like split into a circle of like 1/8. You know what I mean? It's like split into 8 pieces, but those things don't hit at 1/8 of the way into the film each way. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes 2 of them will hit at the same time, or like 3 of them will all hit in the third act or whatever.
One of the reasons I don't love it, despite the fact that I love Dan Harmon as a writer, I don't think the structure is a circle.
Yeah.
Like it's a line.
Yeah.
It's a line. It's a progression of growth, right?
Yeah,
The circle suggests you're back, you return back to where you are, but the fact that the last beat has changed suggests you're not back to where you were. You've grown.
Yeah.
So anyways, that's getting overly academic about screenwriting structure. I like this film because right off the top, just to repeat, Bakhte, which is that like the Afghan, is that Bakhche or something? Like I thought that
I think they keep saying Bahtai is what I kept hearing.
Bahtai?
That's what I kept hearing.
Right. I don't know that, I haven't heard that name before.
I haven't either.
But what is she? Like she like 7? Younger?
She's pretty young. Very young. She's like maybe 6. She's probably like Isla's age.
Yeah, I thought about that.
Isla's
She's
5?
very young, which is funny because they live in Isla's 5 turning 6.
Yeah.
It's really funny because they live in the caves.
Yeah.
And the mother is like, you watch your brother, I'm going out for the day. The brother is like an infant, like a 6-month-old or 8-month-old. I'm like, you're leaving her. She's a baby. She's a child.
Also, her solution when she goes out on her adventure, is freaking hilarious. She ties up the baby and then leaves.
Ties the baby's leg. Yeah, I thought that was really funny.
She is for sure catching a beating when the mom gets home.
Yes, I agree. Or is she? Because I also feel like this is due to like the circumstances of the way they live. This is also kind of like the mother shouldn't be leaving those 2 kids alone, but this is also like she probably has to go get food or whatever. Like we can't analyze their parenting or like their child rearing based on our perspective,
right.
Like our modern like 21st century Western perspective. They're all like essentially nomadic tribesmen that live in the caves.
Right. Yeah.
How cute is she though too? I think she's adorable.
Yeah, she's freaking super cute. You're right.
The emotional center is kind of, at least for the first act, centered around Bakhte,
I think.
What did you say? Bakhte with Abbas.
Should we pull up?
And
I'm gonna pull up her name.
Well, the English phonetic spelling is like the KH.
Bakhtai.
Bakhtai.
Yeah.
The story centered around Bakhtai and Abbas, who is also 6 or 7 years old, the same age.
Yeah.
And they've kind of got this like friendship, but it's almost a little bit of like the childlike one-upsmanship of, you don't know how to read. Abbas is like in school and he's reading from a book, and he kind of teases her about not being able to read, and she pretends she could read, so she holds the book and starts reading. And the first joke, obviously, like after she reads a few words, Abbas is like, "You're holding the book upside down."
Yeah,
and it just shows that she's just looking at the picture. So there's a picture of a tree, and she's saying "sing daracht," and she's saying, you know what I mean? So she doesn't read; she just knows what the pictures are.
Yeah.
And because of that, she's inspired to go to school because she wants an education.
Did your kids ever do that, by the way? Like, did it remind you of anything like your daughter did when she was younger, where she would like look at picture books and pretend like she could read it?
Not really. She's like doing this weird thing that I don't know if it's smarter or less smart, but she's like memorized the story. So she'll read words and she'll read the book perfectly fine. But then I'm like, do you know, because you've just like heard it so many times and you know what the words look like? Like if I gave that word again to you in another context, would you find it, or you just know what it is in the book?
Right.
Anyways,
right.
Enough about Isla. Their interplay, cute. She sticks her tongue out at him. I thought it was so adorable. I don't know if you caught that moment, like they're teasing each other.
Yeah.
And here's the thing I was thinking about the film, because I, again, found it really enjoyable. working with kids is like a cheat code to like make your film that much more enjoyable and cute.
Yeah.
But it's harder to do, obviously.
Yeah.
But if you can pull it off and have like kids as your leads of your film, I think you can like really one up the writing, the endearing, the charisma. Like it's so much cuter when you see kids do this.
Yeah,
thing.
definitely.
So tell me a bit about like, I'm curious. This is a question I had for you, Clive's question corner. What is the exact what kind of camera do you feel? It's a digital. Is it like a handheld digital camera kind of thing?
That's my guess. Because
is it like one of those kind of like this, like shot like
maybe
with
or like something in the middle
kind of thing?
Well, because this came out in 2007, right? So it's probably not like exactly like the Dad at Wonderland camera.
Yeah.
But like, because I don't even think those were really a bit. Well, maybe they were.
They were more common. Like they were becoming common.
Those things were really only a thing
right before the iPhone started getting.
There was only like a 5-year period where those were really popular.
Yeah, the best quality ones.
Yeah.
And then phones just took over.
I'm guessing this is probably like a portable news camera at the time. Like a new news camera, but like a portable small one. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or maybe like a really expensive handy cam.
Yeah, it does have that handy cam feel. It looks very digital.
Yeah.
Not to discredit it, but it doesn't have that cinematic shot on film look to it.
Yeah.
It did remind me sometimes the cinematography of something like Taxi or like Taxi. It looks like Taxi, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I bet you it's a Sony, whatever it is.
But to its credit, the visual landscape is beautiful.
Yeah.
I thought.
Yeah. Definitely.
Like shooting in these caves, you almost see like this. The side of the mountain is like all these little like holes that are essentially the homes of each citizen. Their neighbors all living within this massive cave structure.
Well, and you know what that cave structure is, right?
Which one is it? Specifically the Buddah?
I think it is. I think the whole movie is supposed to take place in there. Yeah.
But here's the thing I was going to ask you was there's a moment they all go to like a watering hole.
Yeah, like in The Lion King.
Yeah. She goes to like the store, which is like essentially a little box. And everyone's like filling up their pails of like fresh water to drink. And then she like walks by. Did you notice there was like a Shell gas pump sitting in the middle of the thing?
No.
And there's nothing else attached to it. It looks like a prop, like randomly stay there. And it looked amazing.
Is this when she's going by the like traffic cop?
No, before that, when she's first approaching the store.
Oh.
The very first interaction she has with the store person. She asks one of the women saying, "Do you know where my mother is?" And she's like, "I don't know your mother."
Right, yeah.
When the woman's filling up the water, and then she walks past this gas.
It's between the store. Oh, I see it. Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Is that Shell? I can't tell if it's Shell. It's the right colors, but the logo looks like a different shape. Not enough pixels.
That's not a gas station, though, right? It almost seems like a piece of maybe there once was a gas station.
I think it is a gas station.
There's no roads there. Desert and sand.
I think that's the road.
Oh, interesting. But then there's no...
That's the road, if you look at it.
I thought it was beautiful cinematography.
Yeah.
Or not cinematography. I think the shot of like this lone gas station pump sitting in the desert next to the caves is like beautiful.
I think it's not to like jump ahead to deeper analysis, but I think the like view of like the oil in the foreground, right?
Yeah.
With like, there's a woman on a horse who's completely covered head to toe beside a man who's like way more free to do what he wants.
Yeah.
Barrels of oil behind the gas station, and then behind it you have like this 1,000-year-old like cave structure and like and an empty spot where the Buddha statue used to be. Like it's basically like a summary of Afghanistan in one frame. Yeah.
It's really it's a striking image.
Sorry, summary of Afghan history, not like the culture of the people or whatever.
There's a section they do in the big picture, which a lot of this is modeled after. They do one section called Great Shot Gordo, which I've often thought about incorporating in ours, where we just talk about what's our favorite. It's almost like, damn, that's poetry, but for visual. Like, what's your favorite shot of the film?
Yeah.
And this would have been mine for this. I know we don't do that, but it's just like, what would be your still image? What would be your favorite like still image shot? This is it.
Pretty sure I found the camera this movie was shot on too, by the way.
Oh, interesting. Well, and why do you think it's this Sony Mini D?
Just because of the look of it and like knowing what was available at the time and like how he likely would have shot it and whatever. Like this seems pretty.
And is this audio recording too? Like, is this how they'd record the audio too, or would there be like a boom mic?
I don't know.
In this type of film,
I mean where that Sony logo is a mic. Is the mic,
yeah.
Yeah, but it's possible that they use like a separate mic that plugs into the camera as well.
Cool.
But for anyone who's curious, there's something called the Sony DCR VX2100. That's what I suspect this movie was shot on.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm wrong, you can send me angry DMs.
It's the Nightcrawler camera.
Yeah, legit. That's what it looks like.
Yeah. I really like also, so when she goes to find, like, she wants to go to school, and it's like one of those video games. I laughed when you said fetch quest, because it did have video game structure in the first act. Yeah. She wants to go to school, so it's like, okay, you want to go to school, you need to buy a notebook, a pen, a pencil, and something else. And she's like, okay, first I need a notebook. And she's trying to get a notebook. She's trying to find her mom to get money. She finds the store owner. She wants one, and he's like, no, it'll cost you like 10 rupees or whatever, right?
He's like 20 or whatever.
Yeah. And she was like,
go get money.
He's like, I'll trade something for you. And she's like, no, but if you have eggs, like, go sell eggs. And
no, she doesn't.
And like,
does he say, do you have eggs? Or does the brother say, take eggs and sell them? I think he says, come back with money. And then he goes to the brother for money. And then the brother's like,
he says,
I can't give you money, but if you take eggs, you can sell the eggs and get money. Mm-hmm. And then the first guy, he goes through a bunch of people offering eggs to get broken by some random guy. One person.
What do you mean her brother? Abbas isn't her brother.
Abbas isn't her brother?
No, because they have different moms.
That doesn't mean that they're not brother and sister.
There's no reason to suggest that they're related. They're just like, they live, because they have different moms who, like, the moms argue, like, tie your kid up if they're gonna, like, they seem like neighbors.
Oh, I don't know why I assumed that they had the same.
Abbas's mom at one point.
Oh, I thought
they might have the same father.
That's what I thought. I thought that they were brother and sister, but that they had different moms.
Okay, that is like a prequel that you wrote in your head.
I don't know. I could have sworn there was a line where one of them calls the other one their sibling.
Maybe if you find it, I will stand corrected. But I'm just trying to skip ahead to the fact that, like, the point I wanted to make was when she says she's going to go sell these eggs so that she can buy the notebook, the store clerk owner tells him, okay, but the price of eggs are 4 rupees an egg or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And he's like, don't get ripped off. And I really like that moment that this guy's like, sees his little 7-year-old girl who wants to, he's like giving her the estimated value of those eggs so that she's going to go off into the market and try and sell them. He's like, those are the price. Don't let people. And then of course someone like rips her, like someone like buys the 2 eggs for $2 or something.
Yeah.
And then the other 2 eggs get dropped.
Yeah. Well, I think she ended up getting a fair price for the 2 eggs. But the first guy who tried to buy them for like $2 an egg or $3 an egg or something.
Yeah.
And she like paused for a second and she's like, no, I don't want it. And then she takes it back.
Yeah.
But true. Even like to finally sell those eggs, what she has to do is she goes to a guy who's like, I won't buy eggs off of you. I'll buy bread off of you.
Yeah.
So then she has to go find someone who's willing to trade bread for eggs.
And that's when it feels like a video game.
Yeah.
That's the fetch quest of like, okay, so now this guy will buy bread, but I need to sell my eggs I need to trade my eggs for bread to sell the bread for cash, to get the cash to buy the notebook. And I think what's really cute is when she finally gets the money for the notebook. Yeah. She's like running up and she's like fixing her hair in the mirror. Yeah. And she's like, there's so much actual joy on her face when she runs up to the store with the money to buy the notebook. Yeah. It's so cute.
Did you at any point think that they would not, that the bread thing would lead to another fetch quest? Of like,
no, I didn't think, not based on the runtime. I was like, all right, this is probably
I thought the whole movie was just going to be this like fetch quest to like get the stuff she needs for a notebook.
But that would get annoying after a while.
That's what I was like kind of worried about.
Mm-hmm. The thing that ends up becoming also really sweet is she because she didn't sell all the eggs, she doesn't have enough money for all the tools. So she buys the notebook, but she doesn't have enough money for a pencil now.
Yeah.
So what does she use for a pencil, Farn?
Her lipstick.
Her mom's lipstick. She goes and steals it. So now she has a lipstick in the form of, she has a pencil in the form of her mom's lipstick and a notebook that she got. And what was the third? Didn't she need something else too? Wasn't a notebook, pencil, and something else?
Pencil sharpener.
But then she doesn't need that because she has the lipstick.
Yeah. She's a lipstick sharpener.
Exactly. I want to jump ahead to the kids. Because I'm not going to go for every scene, but unless you want to jump into something before that, I want to jump ahead to the kids reenacting the Taliban.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, she finally does get to the school. It's the boys' school. She goes with Abbas and promptly kicked out because the girl isn't allowed in the school. I love how all the schools are outdoors too.
Yeah.
Like every school is just like, there's no like structure there. They've already been under attack by the Taliban in the US. Every classroom is just a row of chairs outside. But she gets kicked out. And then on her way to try to go to the girls' school, because the teacher's like, there's one near the river. Yeah. That's where you need to go. She's jumped by a bunch of children, boys, this has very much the feel of like a Stand By Me or like a Stephen King kind of like thing. It's like a bunch of like ruffian kids who are like essentially playing Taliban, which I guess for this generation's equivalent would have been like kids playing soldier.
Yeah.
And this is truly horrific. Like, to me, I'm like, this is really good writing, because the depicting 7 to 8 year old boys holding sticks, reenacting the words and behavior of the Taliban is horrific. It's so painful and sad to watch. And I think it's actually a really good example of like saying so much. It's like say don't show don't tell.
Yeah,
because you're seeing the damage this is doing, not just through the bombs and the discussions of like U.S. war and stuff. You're like, here's children playing, quote unquote playing, and they're gonna like in all realistic natural progress is these kids probably grow up to like join the Taliban or some other extremist group. And that's the saddest thing about what war does to places like these regions, right? And so they kidnap her, quote unquote. Again, all of this is done under the guise that they're playing games, but they're being very rude. They snatched her notebook. They ripped the pages out. That's heartbreaking, knowing everything she's gone through. They rip some pages out. They make paper airplanes.
I think they don't they tear hers apart completely, and then she takes one of theirs when she's leaving? I could have sworn I even saw them like rip up even the cover, and then later when she has the book, the cover's intact. So I assumed when she recollects her book on like in her escape that she's actually stealing one of theirs.
Did they have notebooks on them though?
I think just in that one scene, just like
okay, maybe.
Either that or it's a continuity error and the like cover of the book is like intact again. Yeah. It's one or the other.
But they're holding these sticks like AK-47s essentially. And they're like, oh, you're a woman and you're showing too much hair. You are sinful. They essentially are like, we're going to stone you. So they dig a hole to like put her in. So they could stone her. Again, truly horrific stuff. Here's the question I was going to ask you. Do you think they would have gone through with it? Or do you like, because what happens is when the moment she's about to get stoned, Abbas happens to be walking by. She calls for help, and Abbas is like, where are you? And the kids like abandon the plan to stone her, and they like hide behind the hills.
Like if they were to stone, wait, is your question, would they have actually thrown stones, or would they have been like, okay, never mind? Yeah. Or is your question, would they have thrown real stones, or would they have pretended to throw stones?
Yeah, my question, they feel like the same question, those two questions you're asking.
No, one of them is being like, okay, never mind, we won't stone you. The other one is...
No.
There's basically
they would have either pretended.
Okay.
They would have pretended to do it, or they would have thrown real stones.
Okay. You don't think that there's a scenario where they would have been like, never mind, we're not going to do it? Well, I guess that's the one that they did.
Well, yeah. They did it because someone was going to catch them.
I want to say I think they would have like pretended to throw stones. I don't know if they would have actually done it.
Yeah. I'd like to believe so too, but you'll never know because they don't go through with it. They get interrupted. And then, she gets, Abbas gets bullied too, and he like falls into mud, and the kids kind of harass him, and he finally leaves. And the girl gets taken into the caves where she meets other young girls who have been arrested. I'm using like, because they all are playing like Taliban.
Well, and they're saying arrested in the movie too.
Yeah. They're like, they've been like, the little boys are putting a bunch of little girls in the cave to stand there with a goat.
Yeah.
There's a moment, I actually really thought they were going to, because, okay, here, let's talk about magical realism. They shoot down the kite, which they see a kite flying by and they're like, oh, that's an American jet. Let's shoot it down, right? Yeah. And they pretend to shoot it down. And what happens, Farn? Well, you mentioned this off the top of the episode.
It catches on fire.
Which is magic realism, right?
Yeah, it's like the first real instance, the only real instance of it in the movie.
Yes, and even the way it falls kind of seemed a little unnatural for a kite to fall.
And also the soundscape of the flight of the kite. Each time you hear the kite flying overhead, and you don't see a person flying it, the kite is just like flying around them. Right. It sounds like a jet.
And when they quote unquote shoot it down with their sticks, and the kite crashes and it catches fire, which is not supposed to happen in real life. So you're assuming it's magical realism. So then
it's not supposed to happen in real life.
You're like, wait a minute. So in case you didn't know.
That's not right.
For all you trivia buffs,
I want to watch this with you in the movie theater. Hear you get up and be like, wait a second.
Yeah. So then when she goes into the caves, there was a moment when they cut to the kid holding the stick at them like a gun, and he has a flashlight above it, right?
Yeah.
He's holding the flashlight. I thought for a split second that they were going to show him holding a real. I thought that flashlight was the top of a real gun. And I was like, oh, now they're like really going to the magic realism of like he's got a gun in his hand.
Right.
Like I thought they were going to really play into the imagination. But then it was just he's holding a flashlight over a stick. But for a split second, I thought it was a real gun.
Yeah. Also,
and I was like, oh, they're really going to go into
some of the sticks, like the bigger sticks that the kids have, the ones who are playing the Americans, in the wide shot, they like actually look like guns because they also like tied rope or something to them and like they had them slung around their shoulder. Like those ones, I was actually for a second like, oh.
Yeah. I also really want to say that when Abbas is first looking for her, they put a paper bag over her head and like silence her.
Yeah.
And they're trying to get Abbas to fall into a mud hole that they've dug.
Yeah.
And so that the quote unquote Taliban boy is like, tell him to turn to his right if he wants to see you.
Yeah,
because that's where the mud hole is. And she goes, Abbas, be careful, don't fall into the ditch. And she like, I love that moment because she like won't betray Abbas. She's like telling him where to go.
Yeah.
Which I think is like, if they aren't brother and sister, I think that's even sweeter. It's like friendship.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, so like, of course, from there it goes to she finally gets to class, and without like spoiling all the beats of the ending, whether for one reason or another, I don't know if you want to talk about the ending. We can talk about it. It's not like a big spoil. It's not like Sixth Sense, but I just overall really like the film.
I don't see why not.
She essentially gets kicked out for being disruptive because there's no seats for her there.
Yeah.
So she keeps like moving seat to seat, and then
and as she's moving seat to seat, she's like doing the makeup of all the girls.
Yeah, and that's what kind of endears her to the other girls is she's the girl with lipstick because she's literally using the lipstick to write, and one of the kids uses it, and they put it on their cheeks and they put it on their lips. Teacher sees this, kicks her out.
Yeah,
she goes home. The Taliban kids return one more time, and on guns and the guns, quote unquote, that are sticks drawn on Abbas and her, and Abbas feigns death, like he's been shot.
Yeah.
So the kids leave him around, but our lead, our hero, her name is
Buddah.
She runs away.
Yeah.
And Abbas keeps screaming, "You have to die. That's the only way the game will end."
Yeah.
To end the game, you have to die. And so in like this very cinematic kind of final shot, she's like cornered, and they all like fire their guns at her, and she like falls back over like she's been killed.
Yeah.
In like a bunch of haystacks, and that's the ending.
Yeah.
But they keep recurring. He keeps recurring. Like they keep repeating that sentence, the sentiment of like, for this game to end, you'll have to die. Which I was like, oof, that's so bleak. Yeah. That is a very bleak final message. Yeah. Behind the scenes in trivia, rapid fire some of these. Marzia Makhmalbaf, Mohsin's wife, wrote the screenplay as we mentioned. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to go into this at all, but we've talked about this before in multiple Makhmalbaf film and Samira Makhmalbaf film podcasts. But this was obviously like Mohsin Makhmalbaf homeschooled his family. And essentially had like a Makhmalbaf film school within his home. And so he raised his entire family. And I guess his wife, they did a bunch of film projects together. And like, so Samira, Hana, the son, they all kind of learned the craft from their father by living at home. And so this is like a very famous film school that he had. I'm going to read from Godfrey Cheshire's book from In the Time of Kiarostami.
Tell me.
He said, I also spent time with Makhmalbaf, who seemed to have turned from his own work to producing a new generation of filmmakers. He was homeschooling his 3 kids and some of their friends as a way of avoiding the lamentable Iranian education system that Kiarostami interrogated in his documentaries First Graders and Homework. Mm-hmm. Both of Makhmalbaf's daughters, Samira and Hana, wanted to be directors, while son Maysam was interested in photography, perhaps to avoid competing with dad. The way the girls started out in filmmaking was funny. Hana, who was 8, made a short film called The Day My Aunt Was Ill, which went to Locarno Film Festival and won a prize. I gathered this sparked a bit of competitiveness in 17-year-old Samira.
That's insane.
And to add to behind the scenes trivia, she was 20 when she made this film.
Do you think that film deserved to be in Locarno, or do you think it was like?
I mean,
I guess we should watch the movie before we judge it.
I don't know. It's probably a bit of, having not seen it, but it's probably like everything else, a bit of both.
Yeah. I
think if Mohsin Makhmalbaf's daughter had made an unwatchable piece of drivel at 8 years old, Locarno's not gonna like put it in because it's him. But if it's like,
they might.
Maybe would the Louvre put a stick drawing a crayon with like a sunshine in a house and things?
Da Vinci's son.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe they might.
Yeah. That's great. That's right. I mean, I agree. Now, here's the big piece of information behind the scenes trivia I want to share with you. The title is taken from her father, Mohsin Makhmalbaf's book. The title of which is called "The Buddha Was Not Demolished in Afghanistan: it collapsed out of shame.
That's deep.
In which he wrote about the death and displacement of inside Afghanistan. He also issued open letters to President Khatami protesting the government's forced repatriation of Afghanistan refugees after 20 years of hospitality and advocating literacy classes for refugee children. Finally, he set up a 5-month pilot literacy class for the refugee children himself with the budget of his film Kandahar, and eventually in 2001 established the Afghan Children Education Movement promoting literacy and culture in Afghanistan. So obviously this is a thing that's near and dear to Mr. Makhmalbaf's heart.
Yep.
The Buddha statues, just a little bit of context. The Buddhas of Bamiyan were 2 monumental Buddhist reliefs in the Bamiyan Valley of Afghanistan, carved possibly around the 6th century. So that's old, man.
6th century would be like
it's the 500s.
Yeah.
Yeah, 550. Located 130 kilometers to the northwest of Kabul. I
remember when this happened, it was like heartbreaking.
Yeah. They believe the Eastern Buddha was built around 570 Common Era, and the Western Buddha was built around 618 Common Era. In March 2001, both structures were destroyed by the Taliban following an order given on February 26, 2001 by Taliban leader Mullah Muhammad Omar, this man could go f*** himself, to destroy all the statues in Afghanistan. He did it for the purpose of, quote, so no one can worship or respect them in the future. International and local opinion condemned the destruction of the Buddhas. Inscribed in 2003 as part of a UNESCO World Heritage Site, the Buddhas are recognized as an outstanding expression of Gandharan Buddhism.
You know what would be funny is if the Taliban didn't even know that that was there until UNESCO gave it that.
Yeah.
Wait, what? What's over there?
It probably falls in line with their false prophet
if you're
stuff.
dumb enough to join the Taliban, I don't know how good your knowledge of history is.
But yeah, that sentence, they weren't destroyed. They collapsed out of shame. Those are bars. Critical reactions. This film did very well, surprisingly, for a film that's not as recognized and not as well known. At the Berlin International Film Festival, it was the winner of the Crystal Bear, Generation K+, Best Feature Film for Hana, Makhmalbaf, and the Peace Film Award in 2008. This is at Berlin. 2007 nominee Grand Prix at the Ghent Film Festival and San Sebastian International Film Festival. It was the winner of the 2007 Special Jury Prize and the winner of the TVE Otra Marada Award. It did a bunch of other things. One in Oslo and Ankara. It won the Fabreski Prize. That prize comes up every time we do a movie. Fabreski.
Yeah, Fabreski.
And like dozens of other nominees. Had you heard of this film before this?
No,
before I suggested doing it?
I thought you were joking. I thought you just based on the title. I was like, what is this movie?
She hasn't made too many other films. She's made quite a few documentaries.
Yeah.
She did one on the Green Movement in 2009 called Green Days.
Yeah.
The other film she did before this film was a documentary called Joy of Madness, which is a behind-the-scenes doc of Samir Makhmalbaf's film At 5 in the Afternoon.
Cool.
Yeah, so like she doesn't really have that long of a filmography. Did you even know there was a second sister?
What do you mean?
Did you know there was a Hana and a Samira?
I don't think I knew about Hana.
Let's talk deeper analysis.
Hell yeah.
Can we switch up the order? You know what? I'm gonna merge mine with deep best scene too. My deeper analysis comes down to best scene.
Okay. It might be the same for me. Maybe.
Why don't you go first?
So you want to do best scene first?
If it helps.
I think the best scene for me is the scene where she's on her way home from the store, having gotten the book. She like worked so hard to get this book so that she could learn, so that she could be like the boys that she knows, all this stuff, and so that she could become educated. And then she's stopped by a group of boys all pretending to be the Taliban, accusing her of being like an American spy or
Sinful.
like influenced by like American propaganda, all this stuff. And then they trap her and hide her away. That's my favorite scene.
Which specific scene though? It felt like a
that whole
montage
scene
of scenes.
I guess so.
The Taliban scene.
Yeah, well, I guess especially the part where she's walking and then she gets run up on by all these boys holding sticks, pretending to be Taliban. That first instance of it, I was like, oh, okay, sweet. I know where this is.
Is that tied to your deeper analysis too?
Yep.
All right, so let's go through deeper analysis.
What's your favorite scene?
Well, my favorite scene is the white chalk scene. Once they've arrested her and they're like, he draws like using white chalky like dust. He draws a circle around her and he's like, this is God's area. You cannot walk outside of God's order or border, whatever she says. Right. And so like he says, rather, the Taliban boy like puts a circle in the sand and says, "This is, you can't walk outside of this." And as soon as he goes back to digging the hole, she clearly just steps out of it.
Yeah.
And he's like, what are you doing? And he gets up and he draws another circle around her. And then he steps out of it again. Then he's like, stop doing that. And he like draws a third circle. And now there's like 3 white circles on the ground.
Yeah.
And then he goes back to digging and she just starts playing hopscotch on it. That was my favorite scene.
Solid.
I could go into deeper analysis really quickly too about this.
Yeah.
If he's playing Taliban, it's like, to me, this feels like a little bit of metaphor of like these kids who are playing Taliban and the girl is involuntarily playing victim.
Yeah.
It shows like how infant and childish behave, because they're like, this is God's order. You cannot cross this boundary. And then she's like, here, I'm just going to cross this boundary. Like takes one step. And it's like almost like it's indicative of how like childish and ridiculous truly religious zealots are. Like for these kids, it's a childish game. But it's also exactly what the adults are doing. It's like, God says you can't do this. And like women who are defiant are like, I'm going to do that. God says that women can't go to school because women are supposed to be subordinate and can't be educated. And girls are like in Afghanistan and Iran, and advocates around the world are like, no, women should deserve the right to go get an education. Yeah. And so it's no different than real Islamic zealots or any religious zealots who hold on to their bullshit superstitions with such ferocity, right? And yet the girl is just like looking at the circle on the ground, being like, I don't want it. Like, I'm just going to step to the left. Nothing's going to stop me. And the kid's like getting mad. He's like, stop doing that. And he goes and draws another circle around her. And it's just like,
it almost felt like a scene from a cartoon, or like a Peanuts cartoon.
Yeah, exactly. And unless the kid is using violence, he can't do anything to stop her. And I thought this is so indicative of what the adults are really doing. Like this is like a culmination, a summary of like the relationship between misogynistic religious zealots and the women who stayed defiant. And then at the end, she just plays hopscotch with the 3 circles that he's made. So like at the end of the day, she's like not even threatened. She's not scared. She's like, hey, thanks for drawing these 3 little circles for me to play in.
Yeah.
Those were supposed to be the border. Those were supposed to be God's border that she's not allowed to cross. So I love that scene. I kind of feel like that was like a metaphor. Like that's your parable.
Yeah.
For what's happening.
For me, that scene where the kids all run up on her with the sticks, pretending to be the Taliban, like that really gives us the first introduction to that whole part of the movie.
Yeah.
And to me, it's very representative of the struggle of women in Afghanistan, like as a whole.
Damn, that's poetry. Do you have a damn that's poetry?
I do.
Moment. Go for it, Farn.
I have 2. One of them is very obvious, but I feel like this is the deepest line in the movie, like by far for me. And it's when she's trying to run away from the boys at the end, and her friend / brother has already pretended to be dead so that they leave him alone. Like he's pretended to get shot by their pretend guns. But she won't do it. She won't play along. And she's like, I don't like these war games. I don't like these war games. And then the brother / friend, Abbas, yells, dying will set you free.
Yeah.
And then she pretends to die. And then they leave her alone and the movie ends.
Yeah. That's so bleak. But yeah, man. All right, my favorite scene was a little bit kind of the same tone. So she like finally is like, okay, I'm gonna go get eggs or whatever, go back to the house to get something to sell, and she's running up, and the dog starts like violently barking at her. Remember, like this is a mangy dog.
Yeah.
And then she's like, don't eat me. I have to buy books.
Yeah.
That line, first of all, her delivery is super cute. Everything this actor does. Who we should mention too, I got her name here. I don't think she's been in anything else, but Nikbacht Noruz. Her last name is Noruz. Nikbacht Noruz.
Happy Nowruz.
Just the idea of like, don't eat me, I have to buy books. Again, a culmination of what women are struggling through in the Middle East. Like, I just want some education. Don't eat me. Don't kill me.
All of her dialogue is very cute.
Yeah, she's very adorable. Best performance? Mine's Bachte.
Bakhtai.
Nikbacht Noruz.
I almost gave it to her, but she breaks character too many times.
She does.
So I'm giving it to Abbas Ali Jomeh, who plays Abbas.
Who plays Abbas?
On a technicality, basically.
That could take us to Festival of Cons. It was the one time, I'll say, the most egregious moment of this young girl, and like, we're not shitting on her. Like, she's brilliant. I thought she was so cute and sweet. And I think it's more of like, maybe they didn't get enough coverage or enough.
Yeah.
There's like, scene, the most egregious of her breaking character is at the end when the girl comes late to class and she starts bullying her and they start pushing each other. Did you notice that our lead girl, she's like smiling a few times?
Yeah.
Because surely, like Hana, I think Hana is probably a little bit of a gentler director than like a Kiarostami, and I don't think she was actually getting the girls angry at each other.
Yeah, definitely not.
As a director, she's like probably making it more playful. And like, now you push her, because the girls are pushing each other. But there's a few times you could see in the middle of this, it's like Bakhteh is supposed to be like upset, but she's smiling and laughing, and it's like a little bit of like, and I don't put that on her. I feel like, could you not have gotten a few more takes or like some coverage to not have the character break? But again, this kind of speaks to like the ragtag group of like, this was probably a shoestring budget film. They probably didn't have much time with these actors and stuff.
Yeah. I had that in my Festival of Cons as well. I also had, the thing with like not enough plot maybe, but like, I don't even think it's not enough plot. You know what I think it might be? Is that with Kiarostami movies, I think one of the reasons why is that his movies are full of monologues, which are very like deep and introspective and like often are inspired by Sufi poetry. Whereas this movie doesn't have that. The dialogue is much more simplistic and it's very repetitive. It's like kids just yelling like very simple sentences at each other.
I'll say this also has pretty much no adults talking.
Yeah.
Like, except for a few lines here and there, like, it's essentially just the dialogue is completely driven by 7-year-olds.
Yeah. And I think that might lend to why I feel like this felt a little like it needed a little more compared to like a Where's the Friend's House. That is like a big nitpick, though. Like, that's not like, I don't think that ruins the movie at all. The two things that I think were like actually bad about the movie, one was the music. Yeah, I would have rather just not had music because of the music comes up sparingly, and when it comes up, it's like distractingly bad.
Yeah.
And then the other thing was the cinematography. Even though the shot compositions were great, like there's that shot that you mentioned with the gas station in the foreground, with the or in the midground, the woman and the man in the foreground, and then the missing statue in the background. Shot composition is great, but throughout the movie, I think just because of the limitations of the camera, it looks like a documentary shot on someone's like cell phone from like 2010.
At times, yeah.
But yeah, those are my cons.
Fair. Double feature lineup. If you were going to screen this with another film, what would you pick, Farhan?
I feel like the obvious one is Where's the Friend's House. That's like kind of what I would pair it with.
Yeah, I don't. Aside from like things like this again, like people should watch this film. If you like Where's the Friend's House, if you liked White Balloon, which isn't that the Panay film where she's trying to find a goldfish?
We still haven't done that one.
For half scene. Right. I thought right. But that is the goldfish one, isn't it?
I haven't seen it.
Oh, okay. Children of Heaven, very similar. This film is many shades of that, so it could pair with any of those, in my opinion. But also, it'd be interesting to see this film with any Samira Makhmalbaf film, like a Sisters double feature, or specifically Children of Heaven, because that's Makhmalbaf, right?
Children of Heaven? No, isn't that Majidi?
Oh, you're right, it is. Then scratch that. So, like, either pick a Samira film or pick any one of those child looking for something. You go, seek, find, need, return, change, whatever. Yeah. Where's the Friend's House or White Balloon? Well, those will be my top two picks.
Solid.
Hollywood remake. I have such a great answer for you on this that I was really happy with myself when I came with it. Would you do a Hollywood remake of this film?
Maybe. Only because I feel like I want to see this again with a bigger budget. A little more polish, a little better acting.
Here's my answer, and I think you're going to love it.
Hit me.
Studio Ghibli. Remake this film.
Totally. I could see that.
This film with like the style of like Spirited Away or Grave of the Fireflies, which you've not seen.
I had that same thought. Funny enough, while I was watching it, I was like, oh, this would make a good Studio Ghibli film.
Yeah, this like it has that like childlike wonder, kids exploration, cute kids trying something simple. It could be great.
That would be the first Studio Ghibli film I would watch from beginning to end.
Yeah, you know what? You and I are very similar in that. I'm not a huge Ghibli fan.
Yeah,
I just don't know. I can't get. I've watched Spirited Away 3 times. Does nothing for me. And if like that film doesn't do anything for me, I don't know. Anyways,
It's just for me, I feel like
turning people.
part of the issue is it's almost too wholesome.
Oh, I disagree. I don't think it's wholesome at all.
What's your issue with it?
I don't know. It just doesn't. It's like doesn't hit me in the way. I don't know why it doesn't do it for me. But the weird thing is, like, I've read some things online about how like Spirited Away is also a metaphor for like child sex trafficking.
Whoa.
Like, do you know that like black monster with the white mask that keeps following the main girl in Spirited Away?
Yep.
Like, it's like there's been like dissertations about how like that's like that he's like a sex offender pedophile. Like that's like he's like insatiable appetite for following her.
That's crazy.
And that's for another podcast. But I don't think it's wholesome at all. I think he's actually tackling really heavy subject matter in like coded, childlike, animated ways.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Grave of the Fireflies, which I know you haven't seen, is like it's about the fallout of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Like it's like devastatingly tragic.
Oh, interesting.
It's so sad. It's like the saddest film.
Okay, never mind. I take back everything I said.
Final thoughts and grades. I'd go A minus minus, to be honest. It's between A minus minus or B plus plus, but honestly, I genuinely really like this for a first time feature, especially. I know that the faults that you're going to point out are valid. The quality of the film, the physical, technical quality of the film, and you know, it does really seem like slapdash together. I think the actors are so watchable, so enjoyable, so cute. I think the script is great. I really like the script. And I would recommend this to most anyone because I'd be like, listen, you could like 75 minutes, you can watch this film and it's like worth. That's my thing is always with the length is like, you got it. The longer the film gets, the more you have to justify someone's investment in it.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm like, this is I don't think there's a person in the world I would say like, this isn't worth your time to watch because it's so short. Like if this was 2.5 hours, I wouldn't recommend
This was your first time watching it?
Yeah.
Solid. Do you regret not watching it the first time your mom told you to watch it?
No, because there's like 7 other movies. There's like the list of movies my mom recommends doesn't it?
Okay, fair enough. Okay.
There's another one I want to do for the podcast that I've never watched, starring Goldshifter.
Well, one of the reasons why I asked that question is because part of why I'm giving this the grade that I'm giving it is because I'm thinking of like, how do I rank this in terms of the movies that I'm like, oh, you haven't seen Iranian cinema? Like, you gotta watch this movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I guess like for that, plus like some of the issues that I have with the film, but also a lot of the things that I really like about the film, I think that it has really great allegory for the plight of women in Afghanistan and even in Iran, to be honest. But you know, one thing that I think is worth mentioning, a criticism I've heard of the Makhmalbaf family from a lot of Afghan filmmakers, is that there's like appropriation, and like they feel like it's really weird that they just keep making movies about Afghans and like their plight and like, oh, like feel bad for them and like look at how messed up their situation is in Iran. Look at how, but like not like is he using it as a parallel for what's going on with women in Iran? Why isn't he just doing it about women in Iran? Blah blah blah. And one of them in particular met Makhmalbaf and asked them about it. And this was someone who was a fan of his. But the answer that he got was something that made this filmmaker like completely change his opinion on Makhmalbaf.
In a bad way?
In a bad way. Like it was just like I can't remember. It was a very dismissive answer. Like it was almost like, yeah, whatever, I don't care. Like I can make a movie about whatever I want, blah blah blah. Like they're there for me to make movies, blah blah blah, all this stuff. Like it was almost like they were like meant to be like a prop in his movie.
Here's what I'll say.
Yeah.
That's a fair criticism for anything, specifically with art too. But especially the thing I just mentioned about like the amount of effort this guy had put into also like helping refugee Afghans in Iran and the educate like it's if he had just made the film and then like, well, now go do like not my problem. But this guy like dedicated a lot of his life outside of cinema, including taking the funding, like the money he had received from Kandahar to like invest back into the culture.
Yeah.
Then I think it's less criticism could be thrown his way because it's like this is not just tokenism. This is not just appropriation.
Yeah.
For one reason or another, he really does care.
That's super fair.
And he's investing his time, money, and life to these causes.
Yeah.
So Whereas like some other filmmakers who we would not need to mention appropriate Middle Eastern culture and not being from that culture, and then they just make a film and then something sociopolitically happens and they don't mention it or bring it up or ever talk about it or want to address it. That's truly, in my opinion, mean-spirited and cruel and taking advantage of culture.
That's fair.
Whereas like it was like this guy's genuinely put his money where his mouth is.
Yeah.
So there's that too.
That is fair. That is fair.
Tell your,
I just thought
ask your friend
worth,
about that.
I would.
Yeah, for sure.
I felt it was worth mentioning. I don't know how much of it is factoring into my opinion. If it is, it's definitely subconscious. But overall, I'm giving the film a B minus, which I feel like on my scale is like pretty fair and consistent.
Sure.
Which means that the show average for Buddah Collapsed Out of Shame is a B. How do you feel about that, Kaveh?
It feels a little low, but that's okay.
It puts it in the same camp as like a Gabe or a Ballad of Tara, Metri Shishonim, Hamun.
I like this film probably more than those.
I like it less than those for the most part. But also it's consistent with like Blackboards, Wind Will Carry Us.
Yeah. I like this more than Blackboards, which is Samir's film. I liked it a lot more than Blackboards. What did I give Blackboards?
You gave Blackboards B+. And you're giving this A minus.
Yeah, so I like
Blackboards more.
Interesting.
Yeah,
okay.
Which I gave that a B.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Hana Makhmalbaf's Buddah Collapsed Out of Shame is at once heartwarming and quietly devastating. Its structure feels disarmingly simple. An innocent child chasing something small, almost trivial, but within that simplicity lies a filmmaker already in full command of her voice. Hana Makhmalbaf, the youngest daughter of Mohsin Makhmalbaf, takes familiar terrain in Iranian cinema and reshapes it into something unmistakably her own. The technique may feel rough around the edges, Farhan. Handheld digital cameras, non-professional actors, a kind of beautiful scrappiness, but that rawness becomes the film's greatest strength, at least in my opinion. It gives a story an immediacy, a lived-in truth that's impossible to fake, and what truly elevates the film is its audacity, a fearless, clear-eyed critique of the Taliban at the height of their power, rendered through children whose innocence only sharpens the horror they're made to reenact. What emerges is something deeply unsettling and strangely tender all at once, a sobering reflection of a world where violence seeps into play, using children who are arrestingly adorable to stage and embody some of the most heinous acts of war, forcing them to both mimic the violence and inhabit its victims in ways that are as unsettling as they are unforgettable. And in its title, Buddah Collapsed Out of Shame echoes the destruction of the ancient Bamiyan Buddhas by the Taliban, a poetic, mournful nod drawn from the work by Mohsin Makhmalbaf, suggesting a world so steeped in brutality that even history itself cannot bear to stand upright. That's it for today's episode.
What the hell? That was the longest pause in the world.
It's a sobering reflection. Thank you for listening to CinemaRex Podcast. You can follow us at CinemaRex Podcast on Instagram,
TikTok, YouTube,
all those things. Like and subscribe, follow, comment. Hey, do you want to read? Do you have any of those comments you want to pull up? We could do quick. This is a shorter episode, so let's fill in with some time with a thing. We had quite a few nice.
Okay, here's one we got from Elisenda. Elisenda says, "Hi, you are my favorite podcast. I'm a film nerd and an Iran nerd. Thank you for your work."
I've never even heard that one.
Okay, here's one from Kevin. "Hey, I just found your podcast a few days ago, but wanted to send a quick note to say I'm really enjoying it so far. I've seen about half the movies you've discussed, and I'm really looking forward to seeking out the rest. Thanks for your insightful conversations."
Nice.
Thank you, Kevin.
This was posted on our Instagram by ls10_gallery.
Is that the same person the same name?
Posted by Canadian Iranian filmmakers Kav Mohabi and Farhan Maradi. For a non-Iranian person, it helps me fill the gaps in language and cultural nuances, enriching the film experience. Thank you at CinemaRex Podcast. Get the name reference? ? Being filmmakers themselves, the podcast is very hands-on, not overly academic or dogmatic.
That's a very sweet review. Thank you very much.
So, to everyone who leaves a message of compliments, I love you all deeply. To all of those who do not,
you're the worst.
You are
Get out of
enemy.
here.
Yeah. A sworn enemy.
We do read your comments. We read your comments. We read your reviews, your angry DMs. We look at it all.
To Farhan June, thank you for watching this film with me and talking about it.
Kaveh, thank you for having me on the illustrious CinemaRex podcast. It was a wonderful inaugural experience for me, and I hope you have me back on sometime.
Yes, you know how I feel about you.
Unfortunately.
And to everybody else, Be'omi Dididar.
Bye. Music for CinemaRex was written and performed by Sohail Sadinejad.